Hi boys and girls. Okay, today we're going to be drawing a cake, and I want you to do it with pencil, but I'm going to just use a Sharpie so that you can see what you need to do. So we're going to start somewhere up near the top. I want to leave a little bit of room in case I want to put candles on my cake, but you're going to make like the shape of as if you were drawing, maybe going to draw a house. Okay, so kind of like a triangle or the top of a triangle or an arrow, and then we're going to make some lines coming straight down to show how thick our cake is. So this is how tall my cake is. I want to make another line about that same height, but I'm going to start here. So I don't want to go any further down than right about there because I want these to be about the same. So there. And then another one over here about the same length. Okay. And then I'm going to repeat this angle right here and this angle here. I'm going to repeat again so that I have, this is where my cake layers are going to be. Now I want to get 6 cake layers in here. Well, 7 actually. So in the middle, the first layer, I'm just going to draw 2 lines like this. This is my middle layer of cake. This is where the hue or your pure color is going to be painted into here. Okay. Now I need to get 3 more layers here and 3 more layers here. So Mrs. Walker is going to try to get 2 lines in here. Okay. 1, 2. And that gives me, not counting this layer, I should have 1, 2, 3 above. So I'm going to do 2 lines in here. I'm trying to separate this into thirds. This is a little bit bigger than the third, but that's, you guys have pencils, you'll be able to do a little bit better than I do. Then you need 2 more lines in the bottom section because we're going to divide this into thirds too. So 1, 2, and then I should have 3 layers there. Okay. Now, to create the top of our cake, we're going to start at the edge here, and if it helps you to look at it from the side, I'm going to turn it to the side. It's like I'm making a giant capital C here. So I'm going to start on one side, and then I'm going to curve up and down and around. And I want it to extend beyond my cake a little bit here. Okay, I don't want it to be right to the edge. Then I'm going to turn it back around like this, and we're going to take this same length of line, we're going to go to the outermost edge of that letter C, and I'm going to draw another line about that same length, and then I'm going to repeat this curve right here. So that finishes off that side of my cake. Then I'm going to take this length of line, and I'm going to come to the outermost edge of that and draw it about that long, and then I want to repeat this curve right here. And now I've got my layer cake. Okay, now we want to put it on a platter and that's on a stand. So we're going to make a backwards letter C bigger than this one. So start maybe a little bit up into your cake there, and then just make a backwards letter C. If you're doing it this way, you can see it's a backwards C, or just an oval, kind of part of an oval. Then I'm going to do another line that's parallel just to make this look a little bit thicker. So I'm not going to worry about the back because you wouldn't see the edge of the back, but you would see the edge of the front of my cake stand. So I'm going to do this, just a parallel line showing where it's a little bit thicker. Okay, and then I'm going to do 2 curved lines here making the stand. So curve, curve, and I'm going to make a smaller oval to show the base of my cake stand, like that. So this oval and this oval are similar. Okay, now I've got my cake on a stand. I'm ready to decorate it any way I want. Don't do your decorating with your pencil. If you're doing pencil right now, switch to Sharpie, trace all these lines, and then you can decorate it however you want. Sorry. You could make this a birthday cake and write happy birthday. You could make it just any kind of cake you want. You could just put a squiggly line across here if you want. You could just do, squiggles. If you want to make the frosting wiggly, squiggly, maybe the frosting looks like that. If you left enough room at the top, you could put some candles in here. Now, if you do candles, you know what? If you're going to do candles, you should do it before you do the Sharpie. You better put those in because otherwise you'll end up with these weird lines cutting your candles in half. So I should have, if I was going to do candles, I should have done them with the pencil first and then erased these inside lines. But I didn't, so I'm just showing you what not to do. Okay, when you have that done, then we're going to be mixing up some paint to create different values inside our cake. Okay, so each layer is going to be a different value. I'm going to let's see, I'm going to use a Post-it note here so that I don't write on my cake. But you're going to be painting your pure value. So I'll put this right here. That very center, the center line right here, or center layer is going to be your pure color, or we sometimes call it the hue. That's the hue. So this layer right in here, I'm going to paint whatever my pure color is, okay? And then we're going to experiment with adding white or a little teeny tiny bit of black to darken it a little bit. So we're going to get some tints and shades. So each one of these, as we're going to work our way up, this is a little bit thick for my layer there. Each one of these is going to be your pure color plus a little bit of white or a little bit of black. And we're going to get progressively lighter as we go up and darker as we go down. Okay, so this one just above my pure color should be my pure color plus a little bit of white. So maybe one brush scoop of white. We'll just put white 1, and that means I want to take one little scoop of white. With the color that's already in my brush, I'm just going to scoop up a little bit of white and stir those together, and that should give me a little bit lighter value. And then I'm going to use that same brush that has this color in it. I'm not going to wash it out. I'm not going to dip it back in the hue. I'm just going to use this color here and dip it into my white again. Oops. I'm going to add a little bit more white. So that color plus white, you might have to add 2 scoops of white to make that get light enough. Okay, and then your very lightest color is going to be whatever was on your brush. I'm saying pure color here, but don't dip back into this. Don't ever do that. Whatever's on your brush already has a scoop of white, has 2 more scoops of white, and now you're going to add another scoop of white. So you should have at least 3 scoops of white, whatever it takes to make it look really, really light. This should be the very lightest value. And then we're going to go the opposite direction. We're going to add a teeny bit of black. Now this one, I would say this is probably actually your trickiest thing, is to add black to your color. Because the first one, you want to put such a teeny tiny bit of black that it just looks slightly darker than your original value. And then a little bit more, and then finally a little bit more. So you don't want to have black here though. I should not see just black on this layer. It should have, I should be able to see some of your hue in there. So this is your pure color. I don't have really enough space here, do I? Plus black, but you only want a teeny tiny bit of it. So I'll put a 1 here, but I wouldn't even put 1. I'd put like a half of a, just barely touch the tip of your brush in it. And then this one, I'm going to say hue here just because it's shorter. Hue plus black. And this one you're going to take just a little bit more, okay? And then lastly, your hue plus black. And this one, again, we don't want to see the actual color black here, so be careful when you add that third little bit of black so that you don't go too far the wrong way, okay? So you should have values in here. These would be shades because they're your pure color plus black, and these would be tints because they are your pure color plus white. All right, I look forward to seeing your finished paintings. Again, once you get the color, obviously this one you're going to paint in first because you have that color, but once you mix the color, go ahead and paint it in. And when you switch from this, let's say you start, and I suggest you do this, start doing your tints first. When you're done with your tints, wash your brush out in the sink and then do your hues. You don't want to mix white and black into your hue because then you'll be getting a tone. It'll have a grayish tone to it, and we don't want that.